She moved in expecting laughter-filled hallways and new friendships. Instead, she spent her afternoons staring out the window, wondering if anyone would knock on her door. Today, we're uncovering the hidden side of senior living communities, the loneliness, the unexpected struggles, and what you must know before making a decision. Because your happiness, your dignity, and your golden years deserve better. Welcome to Better Aging Advice for Elderly. Real talk, real solutions, and stories they don't print in the glossy brochures. Hit subscribe, because knowledge is power, especially as we age. Many seniors dream of a fresh start when they move into a senior living community. They hope for warm conversations, vibrant activities, and a true sense of belonging. But too often, the reality feels very different. Instead of finding bustling hallways filled with laughter, they encounter long, empty afternoons and quiet dining rooms. No one talks about how hard it can be to make new friends later in life. And the glossy brochures don't show the residents who sit alone, day after day, waiting for someone to reach out. Today's video is about protecting your happiness before you make a move. It's about asking the right questions, seeing beyond the polished tours, and understanding what daily life really feels like in these communities. Because when you're choosing a place to spend your precious years, it's about much more than fancy lobbies and weekly bingo games. It's about true connection. It's about living where you feel noticed, valued, and supported. Your dignity and your joy are too important to leave to chance. Stay with us, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to watch for, what questions to ask, and how to find a place that truly feels like home. Brochures show smiling seniors clinking glasses at dinner. But real life? It can feel more like being the new kid at a school where everyone already has their cliques. Loneliness doesn't disappear just because you change your address. You've seen the ads, happy faces, group dinners, laughter echoing down the hallways. It looks perfect, doesn't it? But then, you walk through the doors of your new community, and it's not quite what you imagined. The halls are quieter than expected, and the dining room is empty except for a few familiar faces. It's not the bustling, welcoming environment you thought you'd find. It's lonely. Adjusting to a new community is hard. It's not just about the new address. It's about the loss of everything you've known. The people, the places, the rhythm of your life. And let's be honest, that's a tough shift to make, especially when it feels like everyone else has already found their place. At first, you might wonder why it's not easier. Why aren't you connecting with the people around you? You thought there'd be new friends, shared meals, laughter in the halls. But instead, you find yourself spending more time in your room, feeling like an outsider looking in. It's a hard truth. Socializing in a senior community isn't always as easy as it seems. Even though there are activities, even though you see people around, making those connections takes time. And sometimes, it feels like it's taking forever. Here's the thing. Those glossy brochures can't show you the reality. They don't capture the loneliness that sneaks in when you're new, the quiet moments when everyone else is busy with their established routines. But that doesn't mean it's all lost. In fact, that's where the real opportunity lies. Building meaningful connections takes patience. It's not about rushing into friendships or forcing social interactions. It's about starting small. Smile at a neighbor. Join an activity, even if you're not sure it's your thing. Sometimes, just being present is enough to get the ball rolling. And remember, you're not alone in this. Everyone in that community has had to adjust, and many of them are looking for connection just like you. All it takes is one person, one conversation to spark a relationship. It's easy to get discouraged when things don't match the brochure at first. But with time, you can build a life in this new place, one full of laughter, friendships, and memories. The community is there. You just have to find your way in. So, if you're finding the transition tough, take a deep breath. Start slow. You've got this. Many residents move in after a major loss, a spouse, health, independence. These wounds don't heal overnight. Without deep connections, loneliness can even increase in a crowd. It's not just sad, It's dangerous. Studies link isolation to faster cognitive decline, depression, even shorter lifespan. When you move into a senior living community, it's often after something significant has changed in your life. Maybe you've lost a spouse, or maybe you're dealing with health issues that make it hard to do things you once loved. These are major shifts, deep losses that can't be replaced with a new home, no matter how beautiful or well-equipped it is. The reality is, loneliness can hit even harder when you're surrounded by people who seem to be doing just fine. At first, you might think you're adjusting. You're keeping busy with activities, showing up to meals, and keeping to yourself. But the truth is, those surface-level interactions don't always fill the void left by real, deep connections. Isolation doesn't just feel bad, it's dangerous. The more you isolate yourself, the more your brain can start to suffer. Studies show that loneliness is directly linked to faster cognitive decline and depression. It also increases the risk of heart disease and weakens the immune system. In fact, the health risks associated with chronic loneliness are equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. And as you might imagine, these risks can shorten your lifespan. Now, you might be thinking, but I'm surrounded by people. How can I be lonely? It's easy to get caught in the idea that being in a crowd means you're not alone. But the truth is, loneliness isn't just about being physically isolated. It's about emotional isolation, feeling like no one truly sees you, understands you, or connects with you on a meaningful level. That's why it's so important to not just go through the motions. It's easy to attend activities, sit at a table, and smile. But true connection requires something deeper. It requires vulnerability, reaching out, and opening up to others who might feel just as lost as you do. Sometimes, it means sharing your story, even when it's hard. Because that's how real relationships are built. If you're feeling isolated, here's the thing: you don't have to go through it alone. Take the first step, even if it's small. If you've been hesitant to join a group or start a conversation, now's the time to try. No one expects perfection, just sincerity. Maybe it's a simple hello to a neighbor or sitting with someone during lunch. Every small effort counts. Ultimately, these connections are what make all the difference. They're what turn a house into a home. The relationships you build with others aren't just nice to have. They're vital to your health and well-being. So if you're struggling with loneliness, remember, you're not alone in feeling this way. Reach out, connect, and don't let isolation control your experience. Start small, but start today. And remember, you're worth the effort it takes to build the relationships that will support you for years to come. Some senior communities look lively on tour days, but behind the scenes, you might find empty activity rooms, low staff morale, and residents spending days alone in their apartments. Always look beyond the surface. Talk to current residents privately if you can. When you first walk into a senior community, everything can look picture perfect. The halls are pristine, the dining room is bustling with activity, and the staff seem friendly and welcoming. It's easy to get swept up in the charm of the place. But here's the truth. What you see during a tour isn't always what you get. Communities know how to put on a show for potential residents. But the real story is often hidden behind closed doors. One of the first warning signs to look for is what's happening when the tour ends. Are the activity rooms still buzzing with life, or do they suddenly feel empty? Are there staff members around, or are they too busy to really engage with the residents? In some communities, the front-facing staff might put on a friendly, energetic demeanor, but the reality is that behind the scenes, morale can be low. If staff members are stretched thin, it's not just their well-being that suffers, it's the residents too. Another sign to watch for is the level of social activity. If the activities being promoted to you seem to only happen during the tour, or are too perfect to be true, it's worth asking why those activities aren't taking place regularly. A vibrant senior living community should have consistent, diverse activities that are genuinely enjoyed by the residents, not just on certain days when potential new residents are walking through the doors. And don't forget to look for signs of isolation among the residents. When you're shown around, Pay attention to how many people you see in the hallways or common areas. Are there a lot of residents socializing with each other? Or do you notice long stretches of time when the common spaces are quiet? A community that looks alive on the surface can sometimes have residents who are quietly suffering in isolation, spending their days alone in their apartments without any real interaction. But it's not always easy to tell just by looking. That's why one of the most important things you can do is talk to current residents privately. If possible, ask them how they feel about the community. Ask about their experiences and what they've found difficult. Don't rely solely on what the marketing staff tell you. The people who live there every day will give you the real story. Ask about things that might not be obvious. How involved are the residents in their day-to-day life? How does the staff treat them when they're not putting on a show? Do residents have genuine opportunities to engage with each other? Or do they just pass the time waiting for meals and scheduled events? These conversations can reveal important insights that you won't find in the brochures. It's also worth noting the long-term picture. How do the staff and residents talk about the future? Is the community well maintained? Are there plans for improvements? Or is everything just running on autopilot? A community that is thriving will show signs of forward-thinking care and investment. A community that's struggling will feel like it's barely keeping up. Ultimately, don't just take what you see at face value. Always dig deeper. It's your future, and you deserve to make an informed decision. Be thorough. Talk to people who really know what life is like in the community, not just the ones showing you around. And remember, a truly great community will be open about its strengths and weaknesses, helping you make the best choice for your next chapter. When you're considering a senior living community, it's easy to get caught up in the shiny brochures, the polished tours, and the promises of new friendships. It looks like a dream, a place where you can enjoy your golden years, stay active, and meet new people. But in reality, what's presented to you during a tour doesn't always reflect life once you've settled in. That's why asking the right questions is essential before you make such a big decision. These questions aren't about the superficial details, they're about ensuring you choose a community that will nurture your emotional well-being, help you stay active, and provide meaningful connections. One of the first things you need to ask is about the social activities. As much as the facilities and accommodations are important, your social life plays a huge role in your overall happiness and well-being. When you move into a senior community, you're not just looking for a roof over your head. You're looking for a place where you can continue to grow, connect with others, and live a fulfilling life. That's why you should ask, how many organized social activities happen weekly? If the answer is vague or sounds like there's nothing much going on, that's a red flag. A well-run community should offer a variety of activities, exercise classes, arts and crafts, movie nights, group outings, games, music, and more on a regular basis. The more options there are, the more likely it is you'll find something that excites you and helps you connect with others who share your interests. But it's not just about having a packed calendar of activities. The quality of those activities and how they foster connection is equally important. You want to ask, how does the staff encourage new residents to connect? The first few weeks or months in a new environment can be intimidating, especially when you're trying to find your place among people you don't know. If the community staff is merely leaving you to figure things out on your own, that's a sign that they might not be as invested in your emotional well-being as they should be. A caring staff will actively introduce new residents to others, make sure they're included in group activities, and even create smaller, more intimate settings where connections can develop. They should go out of their way to ensure you don't feel isolated, whether that means inviting you to join a hobby group or simply taking time to chat and get to know you personally. The goal should be to foster a sense of belonging, not just provide you with a place to sleep. Another crucial question is, what happens if a resident seems withdrawn or lonely? Loneliness is one of the most overlooked challenges in senior living communities. In fact, studies have shown that loneliness can contribute to depression, cognitive decline, and even shorten lifespan. So, when you ask this question, You're probing to find out how much the community cares about its residents' mental and emotional health. A good community should have systems in place to detect loneliness and take action. That could mean checking in on residents who aren't attending activities, offering extra support from staff, or connecting individuals with others who share similar interests. No one should be left to struggle in silence, especially when they're in an environment designed to support them. You deserve more than a general "we try our best." You should expect specifics. For instance, ask if there's a designated person or team that looks out for residents who might be struggling emotionally. Are there regular check-ins with residents to gauge how they're adjusting? Does the staff keep an eye out for signs of isolation and take proactive steps to help? You want to know that if you or someone you care about starts to withdraw, there will be a plan in place to address it. These questions are about getting to the heart of what life is like in the community once the tour ends and the brochures are forgotten. Don't just accept surface-level responses. Ask about specific programs, the day-to-day culture, and how the staff handles difficult situations. What you're really trying to find out is, does this community truly prioritize the well-being of its residents? Is it a place where people don't just survive, but thrive? You also need to consider how the community approaches the balance between personal space and social interaction. Ask, how does the community balance individual time with group engagement? Not everyone thrives in group settings all the time. Some people value their quiet, private moments, while others need constant social interaction. The community you choose should recognize this diversity and offer both options. Some residents will prefer to spend time in their apartments or have moments of solitude, while others will want to join in every event. A well-designed community will offer enough variety to suit different needs, quiet spaces for reflection, as well as vibrant common areas where people can gather and connect. Another thing to ask is about the long-term care options available. Life can change unexpectedly, and your care needs might evolve. Ask, what happens if my care needs increase over time? Some communities offer independent living, while others provide varying levels of assisted living or even memory care. It's crucial to know whether the community has the flexibility to accommodate you as your needs change. Will they be able to support you if you eventually need more help? Do they have a plan in place for transitioning residents to different levels of care? The last thing you want is to move into a place only to find out later that they can't meet your changing needs. Make sure they can accommodate you for the long haul. Lastly, be sure to ask about the future of the community. Things evolve over time, and you want to be sure that this community isn't just focused on the present moment. Ask, how does the community plan to grow or improve in the coming years? Are there plans for upgrading the facilities, expanding the activity programs, or improving the services offered? A forward-thinking community will constantly be looking for ways to enhance the experience for its residents. Don't rush into a decision without asking these important questions. Your golden years deserve more than just a place to live. They deserve a community where you feel cared for, engaged, and supported. These questions will help you uncover what's truly important. Will this community be a place where you can not only live, but live well? Even in less-than-perfect senior living communities, there's hope. It may not always be as simple as just showing up and finding instant friends, but there are always ways to build a fulfilling life. If you find yourself in a place that doesn't live up to the brochures or expectations, don't give up. The key to thriving, even in tough environments, is to take small, consistent steps toward connection and community. The first thing to remember is that your happiness isn't automatic. It won't happen by chance or simply because you've moved to a new place. But it is absolutely possible, and it starts with you. One of the best ways to fight loneliness and isolation is by creating daily habits of connection. The good news? You don't have to do anything drastic or overwhelming. Small, consistent actions can have a huge impact on your social life and emotional well-being. For instance, attending one social event a week can make a world of difference. It might feel intimidating at first, especially if you're new or the community feels unfamiliar. But give yourself permission to try. Just one event, 1 hour, one small step outside your comfort zone. Whether it's a morning exercise class, a coffee gathering, or a book club, showing up, even if just for a short time, gives you a chance to meet others and begin forming those connections. Over time, this small commitment can snowball into real friendships. Another great way to build connections is by inviting a neighbor for coffee or a chat. Sometimes, all it takes is taking the initiative to reach out. If you see someone in the hallway or near the elevator, say hello. Ask how they're doing or if they'd like to join you for a cup of coffee. Many people are just waiting for someone to make the first move. You might be surprised by how many residents feel just as lonely or disconnected as you do. Starting a conversation could be the first step in creating a lasting bond. Joining a club or interest group is also an excellent way to meet people with similar passions or hobbies. If there's a gardening group, a painting class, or even a simple walking club, don't hesitate to sign up. Clubs and interest groups are fantastic for meeting others in a relaxed setting where you have a shared topic to bond over. Plus, they provide a regular opportunity to get out of your room and interact with others in a low-pressure environment. Over time, these activities can help you feel more connected and less isolated. The important thing is that you don't have to wait for others to come to you. Even if the community feels slow to foster relationships, you can take the first step. Every small gesture you make, whether it's saying hello in the hallway or joining a weekly game of cards, brings you closer to forming meaningful relationships. You can also find small, everyday ways to make your space feel more connected. Maybe it's having a few residents over for a simple lunch or organizing a movie night in the common area. It doesn't need to be a grand event. Sometimes the smallest acts of connection are the ones that matter the most. Sharing a meal, a laugh, or even a quiet afternoon together can create bonds that last. Another strategy is to make sure you're staying active. Physical movement can help lift your mood and improve your overall mental health, making it easier to engage with others. If the community offers exercise classes, try to attend regularly. If not, take a walk around the building, or even just spend time in the common areas where others might be. Movement often leads to more socializing, and it helps you feel more energized and positive. Above all, be patient with yourself. It takes time to adjust to a new place and new routines. The first few months might feel awkward or challenging, but with each step you take toward connection, you'll begin to notice little changes. You might make a new friend, find a group that shares your interests, or simply start feeling more at home. Even in a less than ideal community, you can still create an environment where you can thrive. So, remember, small daily habits of connection, attending events, inviting neighbors for coffee, joining clubs, are the key to transforming your experience. Your happiness isn't something that will automatically happen. It's something you can create, step by step, with patience, initiative, and a positive mindset. Even in the toughest settings, you have the power to build a meaningful, fulfilling life. It all starts with taking those tiny steps, and over time, they'll lead you to the friendships and happiness you deserve. Senior living can be wonderful or lonely. It's all about where you're living, the connections you make, and how you choose to navigate the experience. But here's the good news: with the right knowledge, the right mindset, and the right actions, you have the power to create the life you want, no matter where you are. You can build new relationships, stay engaged, and experience joy even in the most unexpected places. It's all possible, and it starts with you. You deserve to have your golden years filled with connection, meaning, and purpose. It might not always happen overnight, and it might take a little extra effort, but it's absolutely achievable. By taking small steps every day, reaching out to others, participating in activities, making your space feel more like home, you can transform your experience and truly thrive. Don't settle for loneliness or isolation. You have the right to live your best life, surrounded by people who care and activities that bring you joy. You're in control of your story, and you can make the next chapter as beautiful as you want it to be. If you found this video eye-opening and helpful, tap like so others can find it too. Share your experiences in the comments. I read every story, and I'm here to listen. Your journey matters, and your voice deserves to be heard. Whether you've found ways to thrive in senior living or are still figuring it out, your story can inspire someone else. And remember, you're not alone. There's a whole community of people out there navigating this chapter of life. And we're here together. So, if you're looking for more real, honest advice on aging well, subscribe to Better Aging Advice. You don't have to go through it alone. We've got your back every step of the way.